Good afternoon, everybody. Today it is 4 p.m. It is May the 22nd of the year 2023. And it's an absolute pleasure to have all of you here. Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for checking us out. We're getting I think this coming week is when Splinterlands officially has its 5-year anniversary. So um, recently, Splinterlands on Twitter tweeted that out, and one of the original videos, kind of like talking about this game. Rondon was still there with us, so going way back to literally before we even launched. This man's been here with us, so uh, I don't know. It took me back a ways, and just thinking about 5 years of my life building this community, building this game, building the different parts of this, and building this team and building this community. A lot of us call this place home. A lot of us collect these cards and these tokens and play this game nonstop and talk about it nonstop. And I don't know. It's just crazy to me that we've been here doing this for 5 years. And when you look around, there's not a lot of other companies that can say anything like that. We've done over 3 billion games. We've done more than 2 billion transactions on chain. We've rented more than 1 billion cards. It takes time to do that. It takes a big audience to do that. It takes a lot of accounts and players to do that. So man, that's an awful lot of work that we have accomplished over 5 years. And it's just in my brain how amazing it is to be able to say that this is what I've been working on. I'm in crypto this whole time. I'm able to build this space and build it with you. And I'm just so grateful. So for the folks that are listening, for the folks that are collecting and hodling, especially through these tough times that we've been through, I just want to say thank you. And proud to be here, proud to build, and proud to keep on going. Okay, that's the quick intro for tonight. We got a small team here today. And, so so I want this might even be one where we actually finish it ahead of time, which would be a groundbreaking and momentous occasion. So why don't we do like a quick team stand up, and we can see who's here, what we're going to be talking about, and then we can dive right in. So you can see that we got Nate. Weirdbeard isn't here right this second, so he'll be back. Investigator and Chatter in the bottom right. So why don't you guys do a quick introduction in that order, and then we'll dive into the conversation.
Hi, I'm Nate. I'm here to go over creative stuff, probably touch upon a cool new event that's coming up. We'll get into it later.
Sweet. Investigator?
Hi, I'll be talking about what we're doing in the release tomorrow, as I do every week.
And then one Mr. Chatter.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. Going to be going over Invenium and our exciting partnership with Chibi Dinos today.
Sweet. All right. Why don't we don't like to keep our partners waiting. So we're going to go dive right in. We're going to go bring Liam on board. We're going to go bring Charlie here from Chibi Dinos. And, the conversation that I think that whenever we do like press releases or whenever we go kind of bring people together, it's normally let's talk about Splinterlands. In this case, we're also going to talk about this tool and technology called Invenium. And then we got this group called Chibi Dinos. Let's talk about them. And then if we know what Splinterlands is, and we know what Invenium is, and we know what Chibi Dinos is, and we know what a little thing called Primal Hoop is, then we can really start talking about, what is this partnership all about, and what are we trying to accomplish here? So Liam, can you kick it off and just do like a super high level on what is Splinterlands, a super high level on what is Invenium, and then we can pass it over to Charlie to do the same for Chibi Dinos. It's not picking up Chatter's mic. So I will answer my own question until Chatter's ready. It's a great question. Thanks for asking it. But it looks like he's back. So why don't you try that again? What is Splinterlands and what is Invenium?
Awesome. So yeah, I think hopefully everyone can hear me right now. But most of you know Splinterlands, tradable card game built on Hive. What we've really done with Invenium and how it really came to be is as we realized that we're going to be building Splinterlands and Genesis League Sports and Goals and really all these other IPs that we want to start branching out into, we really have to build all these code bases and these wireframes on the back end. So the thought was, why don't we take that, productize it, and be able to really build it into this easily sellable, digestible format so that other people can start coming to Invenium really, and just come to Web3 as a whole to start building. And the reason that Invenium has such a big advantage right now on the entire ecosystem is when you're getting into Web3, you're really starting from square zero, right? So companies are trying to, one, navigate the landscape, do all their research of how to actually integrate into the vertical as a whole. But then on top of that, you have to start coding and you have to build a dev team, and there's everything else that goes on behind the scenes there. And Invenium instead is a backend solution that is going to be able to provide people wireframes to get into Web3 immediately. So we're talking seamless integration into Hive and eventually EVM compatible chains, NFT supports, marketplaces, fungible tokens, the whole lot there. So what's really exciting is the Invenium website is now live. I'm going to toss that in the chat for everyone. And with that, I'm going to introduce Charlie, who is
he dropped off, unfortunately, so we're going to have to give him a minute to come back. So let me ask you a couple questions about Invenium. Is Invenium like a single website? Is it a technology? Is it like an NFT collection? Like who would actually interact with this? So can you give me just kind of like a one sentence description of what Invenium is and tell me like who or what is a partner with it?
Yeah, so it's really a productized code base for anyone who's looking to get into Web3 fast, easy, and really cheap, because it's going to be a quarter of the price of, or probably even less than that, of building your own dev team, taking the time to like pay all the salaries and actually building it. But there's also opportunity cost where it's going to take years to get to market, whereas with this, it could only be months. So really, it's just a fast, easy, affordable way to start building without having to do all the research and build the teams on the back end as well.
So one of the things that it seems like it does is that it works with the Unity application. What is Unity, and what does that have to go do with Invenium?
Yeah, so I mean, with Unity itself, it really just allows for more of like a sandbox for people to just start building on. With everything here, it's just kind of like a plug and play solution. It's going to be completely a la carte too. So people who are wanting to come on and say, hey, I want to build an entire website with the whole shindig, we can give that to you. But if someone needs to just plug and play with a marketplace, let's say, and they have the foundation for a DeFi app or a game or something like that built, you can just take that code base, plug and play it with Unity, and really Bob's your uncle there. You're able to keep building. So it's just a fast solution to market, realistically.
So it sounds like, if I recall correctly, Unity is a platform for building games. Developers go on there to make those games, and then we have a way to go turn their Web 2 games into Web 3. Exactly. And if I remember, like Unity is actually a pretty big company. You know, that's not some like teeny tiny Web 3 thing. That's like some giant Web 2, masterpiece where the majority of applications that are built on the Google Play Store and on the App Store, the Apple App Store, like it's a major player there, isn't that right?
Absolutely.
So my thought is that, especially as a marketer, this would be like incredibly appealing to you, because like normally in like Web 2, the way that you have to do things is like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to buy some Google ads or buy some Google keywords, and I'm going to go on Snapchat and pay for ads there, and I'm going to go on to YouTube and Twitter, and I'm going to pay for advertising, and I'm going to hope that the advertising actually brings in enough new users so that the money that I spent isn't actually like spent and wasted, but that there's a return on investment there. But there's like generally a large cash outlay to get new players in. With this whole Unity approach, one of the things that I'm excited about, and I'm curious for your take, is like I think we get to flip it a little bit because of the whole Web3 aspect, that there's not a lot of places for games to just quickly and easily turn their Web 2 game into a Web 3 game. And if you're like the market leader, you probably won't do this, right? You're gonna sit there and you're gonna milk your game and milk your audience and milk the way you've done it for as long as you can. But if you're like number 3 or number 4 on the list, right, and you're having a difficult time achieving a bigger market share, you might find that you have an easier time growing your company player base and your revenues by taking your like middle tier market game in Web 2 and making it one of the first Web 3 games to do that thing. So it could be like a kart racing game. It could be like a player versus player fighting game. It could be a I don't know, like a Smash Brothers kind of thing or whatever. I mean, there's like a billion examples of great games that are out there. And if we can make the first Web3 version, it seems like that would help us a lot.
Absolutely. And what's really cool about it, I guess, for the Splinterlands community too, is as we start partnering with these big games, and I know we talked about this like town halls ago, but as we bring them in, I mean, Chibi, Activision, whoever we talk to in the future, it's companies that are going to be using this infrastructure, but also it gives us a direct path to partner with them, to be able to share visibility between both organizations. And then eventually with Arcade Colony, which we've kind of briefly mentioned, and I'm not going to go too much into detail right now, but as we build out that kind of game listing platform, it's going to go very hand in hand with that too, and be able to have some similarities and crossovers there. So it's going to help really bring this entire ecosystem full circle. It's going to be a great way to spin partnerships, a great way to help SEO and everything, a great way to really bring people into the Web3 vertical as a whole. And as we do that, and as we bring more legitimacy into this space, it's really just going to help everyone in the organization.
All right, I've tried giving Charlie some time. It seems like he's having connectivity issues. So why don't we talk a little bit about what is Chibi Dinos? Like what is that company? How did it start? Why would anybody know it? And then let's talk about what they've built.
Awesome. Yes. I mean, Chibi itself, and let me find the website for you quickly, but they are a NFT collection. They initially did 10,000 NFTs. I'm going to put the link in the chat here. But they're starting to build a game on the back end, which is going to be called Primal Hoop. And so if people want to go and access, I'll put the beta access here in a second as well. But it's going to be a whole game that's using those Chibi NFTs to be able to actually play this basketball related game on the back end. And there's going to be some really cool partnerships, I believe, on their side as well with more basketball related things too.
Yeah, they claim like there's some ex NBA players that are sort of part of their organization, so that, you know, at some point now or in the future, you know, there's going to be some professional athletes that you get to play with either in this or future games. That's kind of like part of the appeal. Did I explain that correctly?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so do they have their own community? Like, are there any players that we're expecting here? It sounds like there's 10,000 PFPs. Does that mean that there's 10,000 people in the community? Is it more than that? Is it less than that? Like, who's coming along, or who's going to be like partially building on top of this hive infrastructure called Invenium? That, or in fact, this one is not even going to be on its own like platform. It's going to be on the goals ecosystem, right? So who's coming along with it? What audience is there?
Yeah, they have hundreds of thousands of people in their ecosystem right now. I think just as like addressable traffic, just on their socials alone, we're looking at over 100,000 people there. And then there's more community members that are holding the NFTs. They're doing more promotions with people like OpenSea and everything. And so as they grow, because we're sharing these platforms now, it's going to bring people visibility to both ecosystems as well.
Okay. So then, so they built, you mentioned this thing called Primal Hoop. What is Primal Hoop? What is it? How did they build it? How is it relevant to what we've been talking about with Invenium and the Genesis League Sports platform? Yeah,
so I mean, similar to what we're building with GLS and Genesis League Goals being the soccer game that we've partnered with the MLSPA for, they're also looking to build a basketball game simultaneously. And so as we talk about these kind of ex-NBA stars and athletes and everything else, it's going to be kind of a 3D based basketball game that they're looking to really deploy with the Chibi Dinos, the NFTs themselves being the kind of playable mechanism on the back end.
Okay, so it's a game. Where did they build the game?
The game itself, or like the chain you're talking about?
Did I cut out, or can you hear me? Well, the Primal Hoop is built like in a Unity application, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So part of what I did about, so like on one part, I'm excited because they have an audience of 100,000 people, and we're going to start pointing them at our infrastructure, at our games, at our tools. But the other thing I'm excited for is that this is one of the first examples that we're working on where we can take a Unity-based game hosted on our site and start integrating NFTs, tokens, and other things. So this is sort of like a like one of the first stops on the train here of as we onboard people. We find a game, we find an audience, we help them onboard into the ecosystem. We bring people here, and we do what we can to like add their audience to ours. And my thought, correct me if you see this differently, but every time that we do this, the base audience in our pond grows. And that means when we go to the next guy and we say, hey, we got Splinterlands and we got MLSPA and we got Chibi Dinos, would you like your game here? And then the one after that, we say, hey, we got Splinterlands and we got MLSPA and we got Chibi Dinos and we got this other thing. Would you like your game here? And I think each time that we grow the audience base and each game that we bring makes the next subsequent game that much easier to bring into this ecosystem. Is that pie in the sky, or do you think that's kind of like how we can grow this thing rapidly?
No, I think that's spot on. And just going back to the whole arcade colony thing, we're going to have a place to actually house everything as well and say, hey, look, here's all the games eventually, and be able to really build those ecosystems and tie them all together too. And so as we build everything, it's just going to bring more and more followers with them. And as that happens, we'll build a very fluid ecosystem throughout all the different games.
Yeah, I know some of the Splinterlands guys are going to ask, why aren't we building this directly on Splinterlands? And my first thought is that there's not really a reward pool for us to do this. So when you look at the other ecosystems that we have, these things have like Goals has an entire pool of rewards that the DAO can determine where they want it to go. And we don't really have that with Splinterlands. We have a set amount. We have our tournament, and we have our guild pool, and we have some nightmare pool, and we have ranked pool. So we have a lot of these pools, but there's not a lot of wiggle room where there's like additional pools that we can just kind of pull them onto here. And so it gets really hard for us to say, well, if we want to do rewards, where are those rewards going to come from? And 5 years ago, when Matt and I started this company and started building this, we didn't even have SPS. When we launched SPS, we weren't thinking, hey, we got to build 20 more game modes. We were just really focused on that one application. And now we realize, the whole best way to do this is to go onboard big chunks of users at a time. And it looks like we got Charlie back. Charlie, we've had some of this discussion already between Liam and I. We talked about what is Splinterlands. We talked about what is Invenium. We talked about what is Goals and the Genesis League sports ecosystem. We mentioned who Chibi is and sort of an audience and part of the people that are in your ecosystem. We described how Primal Hoop is a Unity-based game that we're onboarding into that Genesis League sports ecosystem. And from our end, we're excited to go bring new users and new games into this ecosystem. Is there anything else you'd like to add about your project and some of why you're excited to be working with this particular tech or this particular company?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, the Genesis League sports platform offers, the best platform possible when it comes to, video game asset management, usability, operability, and really just giving all the users the most decentralized options they could possibly have for having what a lot of us grew up to just be sort of, skins and avatars and things we bought in video game marketplaces but could never extract any value out of. And so as we built this game where we, did a lot of the fun, flashy stuff that goes into an NBA Jam style thing, a lot of the hard work that I'm sure your users appreciate, but most people don't appreciate, is all of the work that goes into the back end of the platform that supports everything that makes that just from a normal video game to a Web3 video game. And so our excitement with the Invenium platform and, with Splinterlands in general is how we can take our NFTs, which is how we were born as a bunch of basketball themed dinosaurs. So we are a very big basketball project, but the platform that you offer allows us to go from NFTs and that traditional 2021 PFP sense to help make them come alive as usable assets in our video game. And so we couldn't be more happy.
Right, you're still cutting in a little bit here.
More
so
than happy
let's
to
do
be a
let's
part
do
of
one
that
more question
platform
because
and
I'm a little
everything
worried
we
I'm going to lose you again.
built.
But what is your what high level? What's the vision? Like, what are you hoping to build here? Maybe a little bit of what comes first and what comes later. We're not quite ready for timelines or whatever. Oh, and I might have lost him. Okay, I don't hear him at all.
Did I miss you?
Okay. Well, the connection's real spotty here. Oh, and we seem to have dropped him again. So I think we're going to end it there. Sorry, like this stream is definitely having some technical wonkiness. But thanks, Charlie. Thanks for coming on. And I don't know. I think hopefully you guys got a sense of what is it that we're building. Why are we building it? Why do we think that it's going to be helpful to us? And what are some of the next steps that we can do to grow this thing and make it awesome? I guess, Chatter, while you're here, is there anything else, just general marketing, that you want to kind of update us on? Any partnerships or any announcements or anything that's kind of on your that you want to bring up?
We're working through partnerships right now. Reality First Model, or Beth, is reaching out to a whole bunch of different people right now. So hoping we can announce some stuff pretty soon here. But otherwise,
This is like the wonkiest one ever.
Awesome. All right. Well, a little bit of technical difficulties today. Sorry, everyone. Thanks for bearing through us here. But yeah, for the most part, we're trying to reach out for more partnerships right now. We're looking at a few potentially upcoming, talking to CryptoSlate and a couple other different publications right now to get some more articles listed, hoping we can get a bit more with DappRadar as well. So we've actually gone and strengthened our connection, I guess, and our relationship with DappRadar. What that's meaning is we're going to be getting a lot more posts with them. They're going to be doing a lot more spotlights on Splinterlands itself on the website, which is great. Otherwise, we have a few more things coming up. Genesis League Goals is looking to hopefully launch kind of end of June, early July. So a lot of run up for that. Main reason why that's important is as we're getting in a whole bunch of new demographics for that game itself, we're going to be seeing some crossover and cross promotions with Splinterlands. So very similar to what we were talking about with Chibi Dinos, we're going to see new users come in and hopefully be able to kind of cross-contaminate the pool with Splinterlands users as well there. But with the run-up, we're going to be doing a whole bunch of different advertisements there. They're going to be a whole bunch of actual MLSPA players themselves doing a lot of drops around it. So they're going to be posting on their socials. They're going to be helping hype it up. We're going to be using a lot of those videos for the ads themselves. And then lastly, tower defense. I see people talking about it, but that is being worked on, and hopefully that will be delivered in the next couple of weeks here. The team Double Coconut is really just looking to polish everything out, but a lot of playtesting has happened on the back end for the full game, and hopefully that will be delivered soon. But once that rolls out, similar things with MLSPA and the GLG game, we're going to be hosting a whole bunch of different ads. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of different PR around it, and hopefully that will help bring in a whole bunch of partners. Also trying to talk to an energy drink company and hopefully get our own flavor, something there. Not G Fuel before everyone asks, but there's another up and coming that we're hoping to get listed with.
Yeah, I want to call it Splinter Juice, which I know nobody likes, but Splinter Juice is my pitch. Okay, well, thanks for the update. Thanks for talking with Charlie. Sorry this has been so wacky. That's just a funky day in internet land. Okay, so next up, why don't we go head over and we're going to go talk to Ron knows who's next. We're going to go do Investigator, and we're going to go talk about tomorrow's release. So, Gator, hopefully you and I can stay in the same chat room for more than 3 minutes. You want to go tell us what's up? What are we launching? What's going live this week? And are you expecting any trouble with these, or what are your thoughts on the release?
Well, I try to always expect trouble, but not really. It's, for the most part, a quieter release tomorrow. A lot of the team is working on Land 1.5, or Cryptomancer's working on guild updates. So there's a lot of stuff that's in progress that's not going to be going out tomorrow. So a little smaller release. The main things that are happening tomorrow, we are making some changes to purchasing energy. So this is kind of a big deal, hopefully. We're taking off the cap, and we're just going to make the cost scale up. So every 25 energy you buy, there'll be a 50% price increase to keep it from being too abusable, which people were asking to be able to play more games. So the other things going out tomorrow, we're putting back in the SPS airdrop, or a link back to the SPS airdrop page, which ended almost a year ago. This ties in with the pre-proposal that we put out, that there basically was no end date ever published for the initial airdrop of SPS to asset holders of Splinterlands assets. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of when that airdrop ended, and I was kind of a proponent of this, but at a certain point, we probably should stop maintaining that code and data, and figure out something else to do with any unclaimed SPS, which is about 33 million when we took a look at the data. And those are the main things going out tomorrow. There's a couple of small fixes. There's a little cleanup to the currency activity UI that fixes a few issues people reported. We are putting back in the secondary sorting on the market in game. After the last update, if you're sorting by price, it will have a second sort on BCX, and if you're sorting by BCX, it'll have a second sort on price. So you can see, what the best deal for price or best price for BCX is. We did some minor performance improvements with some of the way that card collections are looked up. And the last thing that we're looking at tomorrow is posting some API documentation, which hopefully some of our third-party devs will appreciate. It's been a long time and since we talked about doing this. So we spent some time over the past week reviewing some auto-generated documentation and cutting it down to basically what's relevant for people that might want to call our APIs. It's very basic, and hopefully we'll get some people to improve that. Maybe the third party can use this as a basis. Our third party devs can put out some documentation, which they've done in the past. And those are the big items for tomorrow.
All right. Awesome. Are you expecting any major headaches with this, or does this seem like smooth sailing to you?
It should be pretty smooth sailing. We are going to do some moving around of where things run as part of our ops infrastructure work, which may be the biggest risk of anything going wrong or delays in the update. But all in all, it should be a pretty smooth update, hopefully.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for that. I guess what we'll do next is head over to Splinterlands TV. I know Ron is looking forward to sort of sharing some of the things that the players in the community are doing on there. Thanks, Investigator. And if the clown himself could come on and kind of talk to us about Splinterlands TV, what's happening over there. And May's almost over. Are we? Is that the end? Are we out of cards? Is this doom and gloom for all of the Splinterlands TV viewers out there?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you heard it here first.
Also,
Are we?
Splinter Juice, really?
No, not really, but I do think it's hilarious.
Okay. I mean, so like I'll agree with you with Splintoshis. You know, actually, I made a deal with Neil. It means I have to agree with you on that. But Splinter Juice, that's too far.
Yeah, it really is. It's really terrible. But that's the kind of like thing that keeps me snickering at night. So what are you gonna do?
But yeah, no. So May's been going absolutely amazing. The cards that people have been getting have been mind blowing. I couldn't be happier. The audience couldn't be happier. I think that May has been a resounding success. June, we do have something special cooking up for June. Working out a few of the details though, and I was planning on announcing it next Monday on the town hall, but unfortunately,
but Ron, we don't have town hall. It's going to be what is it? Memorial Day weekend.
it's Memorial
this
Day
coming one?
weekend. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
a national holiday, so yeah. But guys, I post all the announcements in the Splinterlands TV Discord. So if you're not a part of that, make sure you go to splinterlands.tv/Discord and join, because we'll be announcing what's going on for June. We will be doing a special promo for June as well.
Is it Monster Junehem?
Yes.
This is why
Actually-
nobody lets me name things.
Actually, I gotta say, the alliteration with June is a tough one.
Maybe Moon, Monster Moon in June. What do you think
Hey,
about that, Ron?
You can win June.
When June? I don't know. But we
Yeah.
June Boom. I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad, Ron.
Okay.
I should probably go do some shout outs. So I don't know if you guys know this, but you can get a shout out on Splinterlands TV. If you go and watch a whole bunch of Splinterlands TV, you start getting channel points. And then if you redeem them, I'll go give you a shout out live on air. And you can see even now there's some fairly recognizable names. You see Sile25, Butt Ups, which I believe to be a mockery of Boot Tops. We got Canada 804. We got Shicky Phantom, Sliffer, Ruse Did Nothing Wrong, Known for Knowledge, and Ja Believer. So thanks to those guys. They're the ones that are out there watching the most of the Splinterlands TV, holding down the fort, building the community, hanging out with the streamers and doing the thing. So thanks for keeping the seats warm. Thanks for talking to the hosts and keeping that thing going.
Absolutely.
Do we have
You guys
a
are
clip
amazing.
of the week, Ron?
We absolutely do. This clip is, you know what? This is one of these prizes that's been given out this month. Monster Mayhem has been ridiculous in the prizes we've been giving out, and this one is definitely no exception. You guys just have to see it to believe it.
Say Yeezy. Got. Good luck. Boom! There you go. GC got the Fiendish Harpy level 6 gold foil. What the?
Yeah, that's a giant card.
That is a giant.
Congratulations.
So yeah, congratulations to Hizzy. I think I pronounced that right. Anyway, yeah, level 6 gold foil Fiendish Harpy. We're not kidding around. We're not messing around. We're giving away some awesome stuff.
Yeah, like you could pay rent with that in many different places.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's been a fantastic month, guys, and it is not over yet. We've still got over a week left in Monster Mayhem, and tons of cards still out for grabs. And yeah, make sure you guys tune in. You got to tune in to win. You can't do it when you don't watch. So tune in, listen to the streamers. They'll let you know if it's a keyword. You just got to type the keyword in chat. It might just be chat activity. Just be active, talking to the streamers and participating in the streams, and you guys can win. It's really that easy.
Yeah, and it looks like Jay Hizzy might be in the audience right now. So congrats, Jay Hizzy. That's a huge win. Huge card. Congrats.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're gonna have some more love and more fun with Splinterlands TV. Expect that to keep growing and expect the audiences to keep gathering and accumulating there. I think we have a Weirdbeard. Weirdbeard was not able to make it to the pro town hall, sound check, but I think he's here. Ron, are we good to try to move over to Mr. Weirdbeard?
Let's do it. Let's roll the dice. What can go wrong?
Absolutely everything, but we're willing to risk it. Weirdbeard, are you there? And can we hear you?
Risk it for the biscuit. I am here.
The biscuit is delivered, just as I had hoped. All right, sir. So you were off in another state. Is there anything that you want to report on what you were doing out there, or is that private, or what were you up to?
I was in the worst state in the contiguous United States of Ohio. Shout out to anybody who is trapped in that hellscape. I apologize and hope your life gets better. I was actually at the Football Hall of Fame. They ran a Super Smash tournament and on these giant jumbotron screens, and I had to go.
That sounds like fun.
I didn't get to play, so I had to do not fun things. But yes,
Were you like shot calling it or something?
Yeah, essentially. You get to sit on the sidelines and have everybody be like, "Oh, wow, how do you like the Football Hall of Fame?" And I have to be like,
So you were doing like introductions with audience, or introductions, or like player interviews?
player interviews.
All right. Have you ever played Smash Brothers before? How did you like it? How did you find it?
I love Smash. If anybody does care, I'm a Wario main, but I do play Mega Man and some Diddy Kong here and there.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. Well, enough about your trip to the beautiful, lovely state of Ohio that everybody loves and everybody should visit at some point. What do you want to share in terms of like Splinterlands? What are we working on? Are we working on anything, or are we just like Labor Day weekends next weekend and we're all just chilling and broing down? What's this look like in your mind?
God, I would love that. No, we have so much stuff going on. Really, the big thing that we're looking at is planning for this next age. It seems like a lot of time, but it's not. There's so many things that we have going on. Delivering Land 1.5, tower defense, validators, making sure that we're able to get our creative team ahead on a lot of the different things that they're trying to do. Guild points will be deployed, which is the thing that allows you to now be able to either leave, or if you're kicked out of a guild, still take your contributions with you when you leave. And the other large task that we've been having to go through is getting our stuff together to be able to take care of some of the things that have been sitting on the like back burner for a while. I am dropping this into the town hall chat on Discord right now. So
a bold maneuver, sir.
yes, this is an introduction, or not an introduction, a list that if you would like to submit a quality of life suggestion, I would love for you to be able to put it in there. We have spent a lot of time cleaning out our backlog of essentially things that we've known about, that our honey-do list that we've been wanting to get to. But now, we only know so many, right? Like if there's something that bothers you, something every day that you just absolutely hate, go submit it, see what's going on, and we'll see if we can fix it.
Okay. So we got some player life improvements or quality of life improvements. What is there? I guess this week we have ourselves the what we call the Crucible of Fire. Do you want to talk about that? Sort of what led into that and how you're feeling kind of heading into it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the things that I'm feeling going into it is good. The reason why it's just like good is because the big thing that we're dealing with here is future planning. One of the large changes that we've made as an organization, if you flash back to a year ago, we were very herky jerky. It was a lot of things to where, you know, we'd finish a thing and be like, okay, what are we doing next? And we'd have to figure it out and be like, oh my God, what are we doing next? And now we're trying to project out not just 3 months, but upwards of like 6 months, right? Because we can't just plan out this age because that starts in a week. So once that starts, we have to already be thinking about what's down the road past that, because a lot of the ways that development works is it's not just, hey, go do the thing, right? You can't have a development team working on something at the exact same time as the creative team is trying to design it, right? Like they're implementing and they're trying to build out what they're doing. So if I can talk real quick, I will speak to some of our big high level things that we're looking to hopefully be able to do. So, you know, again, land 1.5 is major. It's the thing that takes the most air in the room, and being able to get that out is a whole project in and of itself. We'll be doing dev work on the swap of CP for SPS staking. We're going to be making sure to get our tower defense launch plan put together and make sure that we not only put it out in the world, but it has to be marketed. It has to be communicated to players. We have to get documentation for like, hey, if you have a problem, our support staff needs to know what the hell is going on. We also have things like blocking bots from the modern format, being able to get those bugs and quality of life updates, some guild buildings mixed in there. And also, again, when we talk about quality of life updates, it's not just, hey, let's round the corners on certain buttons within the game, right? We have to plan out essentially what are we going to be doing over the, you know, how long is an age? 10 weeks or so?
Weeks.
God, that's
Yeah,
so
as I said in Fight Club, does this icon come in cornflower blue? Like that's not what we're talking about here, fellas.
No, I mean, I'm pulling it up so that I can actually read straight from here. Like being able to if you're doing a challenge, be able to choose between modern or wild formats, being able to look at filtering cards based off of modern and wild, being able to update the TOS so that we can enforce the no bot policy for modern ranked battles, also TOS for the entire, you know, different places that the game is going to be able to do. Lots of notification settings are in there so that, like, if you want to dismiss a proposal, you know how you get the notification and when you dismiss it, it just kind of hides it and then it comes back and it comes back and it comes back. Being able to update our notification system, making sure that we include they're not patch notes, but like our update notes on the home screen. So when you log in, you'll be able to be directed right to, hey man, back from maintenance window, here's everything that we changed and things you can do. We're also making sure to do some security audit stuff so that things like a weak password policy, being able to update. And we even have some stretch goals in there, like being able to possibly add a gift shortcut option on player profiles so that if you want to gift something specifically to a player, you're able to go right to their account and send it to them, and it auto populates exactly where you're sending it. So there's lots of things that are in there, and you know, it sometimes it feels like drinking out of the fire hose, and other times it feels like crawling like a snail, right? It feels like going fast and going slow at the exact same time, and you know, a lot of this is not just getting me and the enhancements team on board. It's also making sure that we are bringing support along with us too, so they are up to date and aware of how everything works. And they not only are helping us QA stuff, but they have documentation to go alongside it, and making sure that creative has enough time to work forward so that when we start looking at these new game modes, they already have the stuff sort of in hand when the devs want to start working on it, or getting marketing so that we can really hammer home and do some great marketing projects that we're planning and looking at doing coming up here in June, July, and making sure that they have the stuff that they need and they know, hey, we're going to be releasing here. They need time to be able to go out and market. It's not just, hey, this launches next week. Can you start telling people about it now? So it's like it's an interconnected web of just telephone. You know, you have to talk to everybody and start small, and you start with 1 or 2 people, and then you bring in 4 or 5 people, and then you bring in 6 to 10 people, and it's just like the same ideas have to just keep going out farther and farther.
So we went and we did, you know, we started Agile for the whole team basically 5 months ago. So we're still pretty new at this. I wouldn't say that we are experts, but I feel like we've come a long way. At the beginning, it was, hey, let's try to make plans for what the next 10 weeks are going to look like. I think by this age and this crucible of fire, where we go and we start planning, I really feel like for the first time we have kind of a unified plan where creative knows ahead of time what's coming, where marketing and support have had the ability to chime in, where we can try to get design out in front so that we have things partially put together so that creative can work on them, so that later dev can really manufacture it and bring it all together. I feel like we have a system that starts getting us ahead so that the devs and the creative and design are not trying to do everything in the same 2-week sprint.
Yeah.
And that feels like what we've done for you as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a process. Like, I wish we could just snap our fingers and wake up one day and have it work, right? And be like, oh, look, we're way ahead. But again, living in reality, that's not the way it works. And it's the same thing. I see a comment in the Discord chat right now from Roland Eden talking about tower defense packs, and we're going to be pushing back, tower defense packs and how much longer those are going to be on sale. So they'll be on sale for a bit longer. But it's sort of it's that ever iterative process to where we now have multiple projects and multiple products that we're working on and having to own and constantly update, and adding in tower defense into that means that we now have to stagger stuff even more just to make sure that things aren't all happening on top of each other, right? The agile process is a lot of doing. The reason you do it in those small 2-week sprints is that this is what I can accomplish in that time frame with the people that we have, and then we do all that stuff, and then we get back at the end of the 2 weeks and we find out, all right, what are we doing next? And we already have it sort of planned out. And working with you of making sure that, hey, we may have just planned out the next 3 months, but we don't get to sit and rest on our laurels. We have those other 3 months that we're also looking at, because there's so many other things that we not that we refuse to talk about, but we aren't talking about because they're farther down the road that we have to start talking about, right? Like Rebellion, like some mobile updating of different tickets that we have outstanding for that. Long term, what are we doing with tower defense and how are we handling that? We also have things like the possible mini set that we've alluded to before, those game modes, an overall guild update and guild extension for all the different buildings and how it's going to work inside of there. And we have lots of things that we're talking about that our team is working really, really, really hard to be able to deliver. And that's the thing that gets me the most excited every day.
So on Wednesday and Thursday, we're doing the Crucible. That's 2 full days of planning.
Yes.
After that, we put a designer on, go get some of these roadmaps live. I imagine somewhere like maybe 6 weeks down, 5 weeks down into the age, we'll come along and say, all right, well, this is what we said we'd do. How are we actually doing? And put in a little update then. And then after that, we have to start planning for the next stage because it's only 10 weeks.
Yeah, it's there.
Welcome to the next. It's the machine, the wheels on the machine keep turning. So yeah, my hope is that Wednesday and Thursday, it's not what are we doing, it's how are we doing it. We have our high level plans, we have our high level designs, and then we let the creatives at it and we let the developers at it. We do that for something like 10 weeks. But after we've done the 2 days of planning, hopefully we'll get a roadmap out and you guys can see this. What is our rough timeline? What are we thinking that we're going to get done? I don't know that we're going to break it down to the week because that might be a little bit intense, but
yes.
We'll show you what we're hoping to get out this quarter or this PI plan. And hopefully we'll give you some teasers of some of the things that we think we'll get to in the following sprint. Not high level, not like detailed or anything, but just some of what are the top priorities coming after it. So that's kind of what I got for now. This is what I don't know. Are there other things you want to share? Are there other pieces that we need to talk about here?
Yeah, I mean the other big thing that I had put in the Mavs chat, I think late last week, I did times a construct, so I can't even really share with you exactly. But the big thing that I have a couple ways that we're focusing on things, right? Some of the things that we may not talk outwardly about a ton of times, but One, like a shift towards a release schedule that mirrors larger gaming companies, meaning fewer releases, but the releases we put out are better, less buggy, less MVP focused, right? Like we want to be putting out things that are super high quality and that we're not rushing them to get out. We want to make sure that we're nailing stuff when we put it out there, making sure that we're creating an on ramp for new players and how we guide them through the game cycle, right? Like that's something that not only is when we talk about new player experience, it's not like you do a single new player experience, right? Like it's always a life cycle of a new player comes in and how long, what do they do when they first get in here and how do we interact with them and how do we teach them the game? Getting higher quality products that are accessible to all customers, regardless of financial backing, and larger updates and changes to the base game product that are not necessarily requiring of users to go out and have to read an encyclopedia to be able to interact and grow with. I think that there's a lot of things that we are doing and working on as a team that we're shifting towards in the agile work process, right? You don't have like 6 devs who are working on 6 different projects. You have a team of devs who work on a thing and then they deliver that thing and then they move on to the next project and they swarm it and they make it so that it's, even if it's a little bit overkill for how many people are working on a thing or 2 things, it makes it so that maybe if you have just one dev working on something, they have a blind spot to a specific part of the project that they're working on. So if you have lots of people working on few things, it not only makes it light work, but you get all this this input and this like interactions between them. And one of the best ways that we see that is between having Hardpoint join Farpatrot on land, right? It's so great to be able to have Farp and Hardpoint both at the same time going at it, because Hardpoint has this very like analytical, let's take a step back and look at it. And Neil is very like, hey man, here's how we're going to make it happen. And they play off each other really well. And they're the ones that are helping to cruise through this land 1.5, which is so much bigger and like more complex than when we put out land 1.0, which was essentially like, hey, your deeds, you can now flip them over. You can survey, you know what's going on. This is your land plot. But land 1.5 can, not only includes like grain and time crystals and staking DEC and staking monsters and how you could do all these different, pieces and moving parts that are in there, that having multiple hands on it really makes it so that it's going to be a well-rounded, complete product that we're putting out there, so that we can stop talking about release versions and have it be like land 70.2. And it's more like, hey man, we can work on this thing, and when it goes out, that's the product, and it's there, and it's going to be great. And the day one that you get it, other than some small tweaks, its core functionality isn't going to change very much. So I'm really excited to be able to get some of these larger projects out, but also start talking about getting the entire dev team to focus and swarm these other projects so that they just come out like glistening, like that's what everybody wants whenever they put something out, is to have like a 10 out of 10 product at the end of the day.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit different, but I think that's part of the way that we mature here and how we grow as a company. And we'll see how it goes. And if it works as intended and as expected, then we'll keep doing it. And if we find that, hey, this is not working like we wanted it to, and we really need a different process, then we can do that too, because we're a small team and we can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think that's everything that we're going to talk about today. Is there anything else that's on your radar that you want to put out there? Do we want to hint at anything that might be coming up soon?
More than anything, those quality of life changes will be really, really great. One thing that I didn't mention a ton there, but we're really looking at trying to find a way to revamp the practice mode, and finding a way for hopefully players to be able to do practice and challenges easier in the way that's going to help them grow within the game. So that's something that is on our radar. We're always developing and always working. And more than anything else, if you do have suggestions while we're in this planning phase, submit them on that form. It's the easiest way to get a ticket into our system, because we get to go through and read all of them. And there's lots of cool, fun, crazy stuff that we're doing. But it's just going to take some time to work hard at it.
Awesome. All right. Well, Weirdbeard, thanks for talking about the roadmap, what we're doing. I look forward to seeing some of this kind of I don't know if we'll get it out by the, well, yeah, we should be able to get this out on the next town hall because we're not doing the May Day town hall.
Yes.
So 2 weeks from today, we should have, hopefully we'll have released it beforehand, but we'll be able to go talk about this at the next town hall in 2 weeks. So,
Putting pen to paper is the biggest thing. It's the first step in a journey of 1,000 steps.
rock on. All right. Thanks, Weirdbeard. Glad you made it back unharmed by the heathens. And let's go over and do our creative brief with the one, the only Nate. And Nate, maybe you can tell us what we're working on, what's burning a hole in the team, and you have this whole age coming up. How are you feeling? What are you excited about? What are you nervous about? And I don't know, what's happening in creative.
Well, crap, Aggie, you definitely keep us busy, that's for sure. So there, but the good news is everything you keep us busy on is exciting and amazing and cool. I know that during the mic check before the town hall, I was like, hey, you have land to share. And I was like, I wasn't really prepared for land. But while you were talking to the other guests, I was like, I'll find something. So we can at least talk about it. I don't know if necessarily it'll be new stuff because it's all a blur to me. I can't remember what I've shared on town halls in the past in regards to land. So some of this stuff might be stuff people have seen already, but it was exciting to see earlier today. I know Hardpoint was in there and he was showing, what the land team and the devs have been making functional and operational and stuff that'll eventually hit the Mavs test server at some point, and they'll get to play with it a little bit. So let me take a look at what's going on here. I think I've shared screens before, but they might have changed, so maybe they won't be exactly as what I did share, and it won't be a repeat. So let's see. So as you guys are already familiar, I think I shared stuff like this before. There's an overview screen, and it might have changed since the last time I showed it to you. You guys will have to let me know.
Yeah,
if
that's
that
definitely
looks
different.
Yeah,
there's a bunch more on there. Do you want to tell me what's happening in this? This is
all right.
It's like a ton of things here.
So this is really intended. When you go to the map view that you guys are accustomed to seeing, you'll see a little production button, and it would be as no big surprise if people heard the word production, because people who want to talk in depth to me about land know that I don't see land as land. I see what we're currently working on as a production form of gameplay, and that land is so much more. Land is everything. I mean, I think that ranked play and tournaments and eventually the story mode and survival mode and all the RPG elements that you guys can think of, whether it's co-op or PvP or PvE, all that stuff will get sucked into land, and land will be this all-encompassing everything. But for this one part that we're working on, 1.5, which in my head isn't land, it's production. Then this is your first exposure to it. You click on that production button, you show up on the screen, and you get the lay of the land. You get, and I realize a lot of people probably have noticed that the UI up until now for 1.0 is very region specific, meaning that if you want to buy and sell, if you want to do this or that, you got to go region by region. It's not like, hey, show me an overview of everything. And that's on purpose. Right now, it doesn't seem like, why would you do that, Nate? It's down the road. Just stick with me. You'll understand that land will eventually morph into very much a very Zillow-like experience, where it feels very much like it's not so much about finding a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's about finding that 3-bedroom, 2-bath in the right neighborhood, with the right education system, the right irrigation, the right defense, the right this, that, and the other, whatever it is that community, whether it's the tract or region, is pursuing in the high level production gameplay, that will might very well end up more important to you than just finding a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, So you don't want to look just anywhere. You want to look for a property in that one spot that you're looking for, and then that'll make sense for people who are interacting with the UI. Why did you do it that way? Well, someday you'll see why we did it that way. But anyways, this is different. In this particular screen, you get an opportunity to kind of see. Let's see, what did I share? I shared the overview. So on the overview screen, you get to see that lay of the land. You get to see everything. what is the makeup, the composition of your plot portfolio, if you will, in terms of rarity and in terms of, you know, which ones are occupied and which ones are, you know, magic land, and how are you interacting with that stuff. And then of course, as you already saw, oh, Nerd Cthulhu put a region view, which actually isn't the overview screen. Here is the let me find the region view. The region view is slightly different than what he shared, and I'll put that in here. From the overview screen, you go the region view, and you'll notice if you compare the two screens that we did swap the dark energy and the grain containers. And I'm trying to see if there's any other differences. Maybe the buttons are slightly different. We made a little bit of tweaks, a little bit of modifications, not a whole bunch for that one. So that one's almost the same. But as you pursue down into the, let's say you find the particular plot, you're at the region level and you're looking at all the plots in that region, and you want to say, well, I want to kind of like manage this specific plot on the list view. Then you'll click that little arrow and you'll go down to the plot view. What I do have for plot view, let me see what I have here. Well, before I go into that, some other child screens that you might interact with, which have just been Farpatrod and Hardpoint and Eduardo have been great in making these happen. So there's a transfer of time crystal screen, and there's a grain confirmation screen if you're transferring grain, and what does that entail? So these are, you know, there's a whole bunch of these screens, right? We call them child screens, in that, you know, once we make the core screen, there's all these buttons and actions and activities, and they result in all these other mini screens. So we got to design those out and figure out how those work. And those are just two examples of many. Once you get down into the plot view, which I don't have anything to share for that right now, but what I do have to share, what do I have to share? Last town hall that I was on, I shared what happened if you set up a grain work site, which looks like that. So that's nothing new. You guys have seen that before. But, you know, I want to make Aggie happy. So I figured, well, crap. I wasn't going to show it this early, but what happens when you go inside the work site? What happens when you go inside the building to manage your workers and your equipment and stuff like that? So here's a little glimpse, a little taste of the artwork that we're working on for the insides of the what we're calling the work sites. So there is the inside of the grain place. So I think that's cool. I think the art team did an amazing job at that. That's Madi, our art lead, and Alex, our environment artist, are just knocking out of the park with the what I consider to be AAA quality artwork. Trying to see what else we have to share. I think that's pretty much
that's it. I think that's good for now. I think guys got some stuff to go keep their brain occupied in terms of, you know, cranking these things out and all the different screens that we have to do and the kind of puzzles that we're solving over there. Is there anything else that you want to share other than land? Is there anything coming up that is on your brain?
So, you know, I told Aggie, hey, are you okay with me talking about this a little bit? And he said, yeah, everything and anything, just like he always does. So I you know, I don't mean to be a tease. Of course, you know, you would say otherwise, but
this is the tease time. We're just giving some notice here.
Yeah, so I'm not going to get into the details. I'm going to leave that to Matt. Matt will be releasing a blog post to discuss, you know, whatever. But I think we have indicated in the past that we did want to do something this month, being our 5-year anniversary. And it's funny because we started off with something like tiny or silly, and it just blew. Before I knew it, Matt and Aggie got themselves in a room, and they came out of the room saying, "Rah, we're gonna do this," and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what they have planned. But what I'll do is I'll just show pieces of my part, which is the artwork, the narrative, the lore involved with this big 5-year anniversary shindig, which we are. Let me see if I have anything. Which we are proclaiming as
not too much details. I don't want anything with dates. Just keep it simple. But yes, let's show something.
So here is in celebration of year 5, which we are calling the Great Burning, which you guys will find out what that means. But essentially, Year 5 is a big deal. Splinterlands, I mean, you guys already know. For those of you who've been with us since 2018, geez, we've been on quite the roller coaster ride. And what's cool, at least being internal in the company, I will say that morale is high, excitement is high. We don't care about the bear market. We don't care about, you know, this, that, and the other, what's going on. What we care about is that, hey, can we continue to deliver products and services and gameplay to the players that increase the value of their assets and bring them entertainment and joy and engagement and immersiveness and all counts. I can assure you that the creative department is working on stuff that, yes, checks all the boxes for all of that stuff. There will be I don't know what to call it. There'll be stuff, rewards, and prizes involved.
That's enough. That's enough.
I will
just
say
teasing
that,
this one out there.
let's
Thanks.
see.
It's a big thank you. It's a big
Yeah.
thank you to the entire community of we've been here 5 years. We're still here. We're still building. Bear markets be damned, that we're going to grow this game to the most badass game that ever walked for TCGs and Web3. And you know, we appreciate you guys being here, and we wanted to go put something together that helps every single person, every single group. It'll be awesome.
It will. So it's up to you if you want me to share any other artwork for that, or you want to keep that under wraps.
I think that's good enough. I think that's
good.
exactly that's the tease that I want out there. And you know, I know you guys are going to keep asking me when this, when that, when burn. Ron has already put it, and it's a wonderful question, and I can't wait to reveal it. Should be fun. But it's not today. In fact, it likely won't be, at least for 2 weeks, because we're not going to be here on Memorial Day Monday, and it'll be the week after, or maybe beyond that we start talking about it. But the soonest that we could possibly do is 2 weeks, but there's no guarantee that there's anything coming then. Okay. Anything else that you want to talk about? How are you? I guess just how are you feeling for the Crucible? Are you in a deep wet sleep every night and waking up in cold sweats and terrified? Are you are you Rambo, kind of like taking down child screens one at a time with an Uzi? Like, what's this thing look like for you?
I would say that things are definitely, we got a lot of balls in the air at the same time. Things are tight, but I am pretty optimistic so far. I think we have the team to make it happen. So I'm pretty confident and optimistic right now that it's going to be, we're gonna pull out of our hat everything that we're saying that we're going to, and that it's going to be great.
Sweet. Okay. Well, I think that does it for creative. Let's go answer some player questions here. We got the pre-submitted ones as per normal. So I'm going to go through these. Splinterlands Town Hall pre-sorted questions. Would it be possible for Chibi Dinos and all future games to use DEC? Wouldn't more products priced in DEC help stabilize the price to 1,000 DEC? Yep, absolutely. We're looking at various requirements that people might have to do. So we'll see what that looks like. And what we do on the very first one might be different than what we do on the 5th or 10th. We start small, and then we up the ante. SBS staking. Will rating in the SBS staking formula be considered at league cap or actual rating? Example, player at 2,800, but in the silver where max is 1,900. I think it's just rating, but I don't know if somebody knows otherwise.
I believe it is just rating as well, but we can confirm with Matt, and I'll be able to post that publicly.
How would the SBS staking formula and the current card level formula work in combination? The card level just reduces the amount that you earn. So if you're under leveled, so these are, if you have additional, SBS is basically just a slider to your rewards. So if you add more SBS, you'll get more rewards. And if you lower the SBS, you'll lower the rewards. And the same thing, it's not quite a slider, because it's not like an analog where you just turn it up. It's more like, a digital switch where it's either on or off with the cards that you stake. But if you're still staking cards that are like the starter cards, that will also reduce your rewards. So if you're using max level cards and you have lots of SPS stake, that's the way to maximize your rewards. And using the starter cards that are like the Phantom or Soulbound cards and not having any SPS stake is the way to make the least amount of earnings in this game. I assume the decision about SPS quantities required per league was data-driven, not just with a wet finger in the air. Would you please disclose the data driving the decision and what is the rationale behind the specific quantities given? So first off, I think Matt nailed it because the dude put in the white paper 3 years ago numbers that are fairly close. If you look, the individual numbers are a little bit lower, but when you start looking at the range of what we're expecting, then the range is basically spot on. Matt called this thing almost 2 years ago. And the game uses cubic rewards. So when you double your rank, you can octuple your rewards. And that's because in the game, in order to go get higher rank, there's a substantial amount of cards that you have to purchase. So, in like Hive, when you vote on a post and, there's a linear reward, there's nothing that forces you to buy a certain amount of Hive. You just get it or you don't, and you can pick your level and you have linear rewards. But in this game, the difference between silver and gold or diamond can be thousands of dollars. And so we don't just want it to be linear. We want to make sure that the rewards go up as you rank higher. And that's true not only for the cards that you have, but the SPS that you're staking. And again, that doesn't mean that, if you don't have any SPS staked, you can't earn anything. That's not how this game will work. It's just that basically the more that you stake, the more you'll earn, and the less that you stake, the less you'll earn. And so you and your budget get to more or less decide what level of earning power do you want. But to me, the advantage here is that the biggest utility that we could provide to the SPS token is on its way. And I'm hopeful that it's going to be part of this coming age. It might not make it in, who knows what's going to happen in a 10-week sprint, but I'm hoping that the SPS staking rewards gets into the game. And, this is a giant utility for the SPS token. And I think that's super exciting.
Hey, Aggie, can I interject something real quick?
Sure.
So, I saw last town hall that there was a lot of miscommunication that needed to be cleared up, and eventually it did. But I think at every opportunity we should emphasize it's not a requirement. It's like it says here, quantities required per league. There is no league requirement. You do not have, like what Aggie just said. You do not even have to stake SPS to participate or to rank up or to go to a different league. It's not gating you in any way. So it's not a requirement.
Yeah, but you get to decide, what is the right ratio of things in this game for you? How much DEC do you want? How much land do you want? How many cards do you want? How much SPS do you want? What are the things that you're going to be doing? And you look at the things that you have, and you look at what can I earn by doing different parts of this? This game, a lot of this game is hopefully building up a collection over time. You want to play to own. You want to build up your collection, and that's a lot of what we're trying to do here. And this is just, it's giving you the guideline that should be in everybody's best interest, that the more SPS that we are all staking, the more that you can earn. That shouldn't be hard for people to swallow. That should be exciting. That's what gets all the players, at first it appears as frustration or anger. You're making me do this. But to Nate's point, no, we're not. If you want to earn more, you can stake more. And that wasn't true prior to this thing going live. And so this is a giant utility for the SPS token, and it's voluntary. It is voluntary for you to do this. You don't have to do this. And if you choose to unstake your SPS and stop playing ranked, it means that somebody else is going to start earning more SPS because of your decision. And that could be very exciting for them. So, make your decisions of what you want to do. But when I look at this, I'm just thrilled. Like, we just gave SPS the biggest freaking utility that we ever could. And it's nearly perfectly in line with what we said we'd do 2 years ago when we released the paper. Giant freaking win. How does the staking formula account for the difference in modern versus wild? I think it'll work the same way, that, you know, wherever you're earning rewards, whether that's modern or wild or both, it's going to look at how much SPS that you're staking. Physical game. Monosurge was teased during Splinterfest. Is there a tentative date for it to be released? We put that on the back shelf for a little bit. That's more of like a bull run time when we have extra people and extra man hours and extra stuff. That's more of like a nice to have than a must have. So when the bull market is here and we're having tons of fun and putting new stuff out, especially because we want to get in comic shops and we want to get in bookstores and things. So I'm very excited to get Monosurge out. I just don't think it's a now thing. Soulkeep pack sales are set to expire end of June. What percentage of leftover packs will be burned versus used for promotions versus used for rewards? I think we're going to have to extend this one. You know, it doesn't make any sense to go not have packs for sale when the game releases. I think we're going to need something like at least 6 months of pack sales before we burn the packs. So I think this one's going to be pushed back. Hopefully the players are fairly reasonable that, you know, if we want new people playing, they're going to have to be here. Can we open our packs before the game is launched? You know, they're working on that now. So the game launch and the cards opening, they're going to be, I don't know if they're in the same sprint. They might be back to back or pretty close, but you know, we're almost there, guys. Suggestion feedback. What is happening with SPS staking? The amounts announced are ridiculous. I invested over 2 years in Splinterlands and made like 2.5K SPS. And now you're telling me I will need 250,000 SPS to get full rewards at my level? I feel like you were just giving all the benefits to the first 500 players of the. I don't think that's the case. Lots of people have sold. So, you know, there were people that got the airdrop and there were people that bought these tokens. If anything, the people now, this is some of the lowest pricing I've seen since we launched it 2 years ago. So the people literally right this second have what I consider some of the best opportunity. This is the lowest price that I've seen it on the market since July of 2021. So yes, you're going to need stake, but so is everybody. I oftentimes people only look at this through their own personal lens. I am upset that I will need more stake. First off, you don't need more stake. You just will want to have more stake. It's not a requirement, but it will help you if you have more. Second off, it's not just 250,000. It could be more than 250,000 if you're really trying to pump up your rewards. But the main thing to me, when I get excited about this, you know, my heart goes out to the guy that's saying I need 250,000. But you really ought to, rather than just be upset about that one piece, I want you to realize every single person in this game, minus maybe 5 or 10, are in the exact same boat as you. Everybody needs more SPS. You know, there's a handful of accounts that have, you know, nearly 10 million, but there's not tons of them. You know, most of the players in the game, even the champion level players, aren't going to have as much SPS as they want, and that means that there's going to be more demand for this product. That's what utility does to tokens. So you can be upset, you can be angry. Those are sort of the first you know, phases of dealing with grief. That, you know, you have the anger. I've had people start bargaining with me about like, hey, how can we change things around? But there's like a real 5 stages of grief that players have to go through with this. And then afterwards, when you get to acceptance, when you finally understand this coup d'etat that we're doing that benefits every single SPS stakeholder, your mind should be blown. You should be like totally excited about this. Like, oh, right now you're drawing a circle right around you. And I ask you to go draw a circle that's even bigger, that encompasses all the players in the game, and say all of these people now need more SPS. There's more demand, and it's on every single person. And there's not a certain amount that you can own. You just want more. If that's not the juiciest setup in play to own games, I don't know what is. So make your decisions wisely. And we'll see where this goes. As a major holder of SPS, I am freaking thrilled, and I hope you are too. If we can obtain more than 100% rewards by increasing the staked SPS, can we consider such bonuses for higher level cards when playing in lower leagues, such as using cards as Silver, Gold, Diamond League, and the Bronze League games? That's not a bad idea. I mean, the cards would still be nerfed, but if you have diamond level cards and you're playing lower. But one of the things, I don't think that we really want to incentivize that. We're trying to get I don't think that we really want the the high level players just kind of clubbing baby seals in the lower tiers. So maybe that's not something that we want to incentivize, but that's actually a pretty good idea. And I can punt that around. If we can obtain more than 100, I just asked it one. Can we make a DAO proposal that the battle pass includes some staked SPS? Maybe even make a tutorial reward as part of a new player experience, along with credits that are unlocked through learning the gameplay. There's lots of things that we can do. We don't have a battle pass now, so I'm not going to commit one way or the other. But code is infinite. We can do almost anything that we want to do here. So I will say that is possible, but I don't want to commit to it. Is it possible to add a favorite button or something similar in the card items? I think that's some of like the screens that we're working on, right? Is there anything, is that anywhere on the radar to sort of make selection easier? Weirdbeard, you're still muted, sir.
All right. Yes, it's like you said, anything's infinite. We could do a million things, but as of right now, we're just not in a place where we're considering that. So I think that we could submit it in the quality of life feedback. But again, like we have plenty of other fish to fry first before we sort of get there.
Okay, there's a lot of talk about the amount of money being given out to various entities to run our LPs and what happens in the future when these rewards no longer exist. Very curious to the prospects of the DAO privatizing the LP and receiving all these rewards. Looking at the treasury, it seems in the right tokens. I'm not CEO of the DAO. If you guys want some of the way, do I have to reset? Ron? All right, I'll be right back.
Sorry for the technical difficulties, folks. He's coming right back.
Oh no.
Hello? Am I coming through now?
All right, Ag, try it again.
So there's a lot of talk about the amount of money being given out to various entities to run our LPs and what happens in the future when these rewards no longer exist. I'm very curious as to the prospects of the DAO privatizing the LP and receiving all these rewards. Looking at the treasury, it seems within the realm of possibility, as it already has the tokens for many of these LPs or the funds to buy tokens. My answer is I am not CEO of the DAO. You guys run the DAO. I am a stakeholder, and I value my ability to vote on things. If it's important to this community that the DAO does something, especially financial, that's within the realm of the players to go vote on. If you guys want to build a boat building business, if you guys want to go make children's books and fairy tales, if you want to pay out a couple people on Twitter to go shill the game. These are things that you guys can do with DAO funds, and you don't have to say, hey, Agrode, can I do this? You have a DAO. There are DAO funds. And what you have to do is round up support from other stakeholders. So please don't say, hey, Agrode, can we do this? My answer is you guys can do almost anything, right? The DAO can't vote to sell my house. It's my house, not the DAO's. You can't sell things that aren't part of that the DAO itself doesn't own. But it's not up to me. It's up to the stakeholders in this ecosystem, the kind of things that you guys want to be doing. Okay, so that's the list there. If reality, if you could go pop in the magic phrase so that we can accept questions. We have something like 30 minutes now. You guys are right there with your questions. I don't know if we'll go the full 30 minutes because we don't have a huge audience in here, but here we go. So Lewis88 is asking, Nate, is it possible for you to add support in the battle card select overview page to bring up support on keystroke filter the cards? Example, press the 5 on the keyboard, filters all cards with mana 5 and the rest is not shown. Press it again, toggles back all cards, may speed up card selections. What do you think about that for mana costs?
So you want to incorporate keystrokes as I got it. Kind of like when you do Command or Control C to copy or V to paste. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, that's Sure, that might be possible. You mean rather than like a little slider or something right there on the interface? I guess just my main concern is that we're we have to find a way to educate the player that these things exist, which isn't the end of the world, but a visual slider or something like that might. I don't know. I guess
I
we'll
don't
have to look into that.
But it are the short answer is yes, it is possible. The long answer is who knows what we're going to develop next. The roadmap will have what is coming up in the next age, the next 5 sprints, the next 10 weeks, and then after that we can look at other things that are in there. This sprint or this age is pretty locked and loaded, so I don't think we're going to be adding a whole lot more to this one. But the one
Put in
after it,
Weirdbeard's quality of life.
what's that?
Put in Weirdbeard's quality of life feedback.
Yeah,
You want
exactly.
Yeah, hey, that's a great
feedback.
answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just solicited some feedback. That's a great place to do it. Thank you. Will somebody link that again? And then
Yes.
ideally we can pin it. RuneGuard.
I was just gonna say somebody also asked if they can submit more than one request. Yeah, put in as many as you'd like.
Question in the SBS white paper, it says SBS earned from the ranked battle reward pool will go to the player who won the battle, and the SBS from the staking reward pool will be divided amongst the player's account that staked SBS on the winning player based on their percentage of the total staked on that player. This implies that there are 2 pools, one from the play to earn SBS distribution and one from the staking SBS distribution. Why now are we diverging from this? Why not make the SBS staking a bonus to rewards without taking punitive action to winning players? I would need Matt to go sort of pull that one apart. Anybody want to weigh in on that? Because there are 2 pools. I got to go look at Matt hasn't released we know the numbers, but we haven't seen every single part that it impacts, and we won't until the sort of post is out about it that clarifies which pools are being impacted by this. But there are 2 reward pools, and yes, you're gonna be drawing from different pools. Shouldn't we vote on this new proposed SBS distribution system since it is materially different than the original system that was described from the white paper? Actually, I think it's nearly identical to the one that's in that white paper. So my first pass is no, this is already sort of included, and maybe we have more work to do to clarify how it's already the things that we've been saying for 2 years that we'll do. That might be a presentation piece more than it is a things are different piece. Dishonesty is asking, why is the R shares formula capped by the maximum rating for your league while the SBS thresholds are based on rating regardless of the maximum for the league? This is super bad for the LB players. That's the leaderboard players, I think. That's a better question for Matt because he's the sort of lead designer there. But again, this is what we've been saying is going to be happening for a long time, and maybe we'll have to figure out something for the leaderboard. I don't know that we anticipated the leaderboard when we first put out that white paper, but we'll think about that. Weirdbeard, when we were going to do something about the disproportionate rewards for alpha tournaments, there are also bigger context of alpha card supply drying up due to the immense bonuses they have on land. Do you have something planned for that, or do we need to fund a small proposal?
I don't know because I always hate telling people, hey, go make a proposal because that's not a great answer, right? Because you sort of give away all the ability for us to legislate within the game itself. I guess I'd have to think about that more. I don't think that you'd have to pass a proposal, but again, it's one of those things that I don't have an answer for, unfortunately.
Intrepid Surfer, for future reference, could you kindly never put any dates in a white paper post or town halls, please? Because right now you are losing street credit with your missing dates. We'll take that under advisement. Yes, this is a very hard space to operate in, as one day you are drinking from the financial fire hose and the next day you are financially asphyxiated. It is a difficult atmosphere to go plan appropriately. Extreme Player 63, quality of life issue. Is there any way the devs can fix the born again rule set where the summoner resurrecting the dead Splinter is from their actual team? Right now, no matter what Splinter dies and is born again, the top position summoner is the only summoner doing the resurrecting. It's minor, but would make the game flow look better. IMO, thanks for your consideration.
This is a ticket we actually already have in our backlog that we're going to be working on. So already looking at.
Essence of Anarchani is asking, when the bot ban finally comes to modern, can the change happen in between seasons so we can make the adjustments necessary without having to ditch part of a season in progress? Or could we get the implementation notice during the season before the change? Yeah, we typically try to give notice rather than
Yeah.
just be like, here it is tomorrow.
Yeah, we would never dump something as massive as that
I mean,
without.
I wouldn't want to say never, but we try not to.
Okay. With the air quotes, at every possible opportunity, we would most likely not do something that impactful without telling people ahead of time.
Yeah. That's totally fair. But if there's like some exploit or something, we're gonna close it.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
and people just need to understand that you know, changing something immediately that is broken is more important than your feels about being able to continue an exploit. And that is just a company stance. That's all the leadership. We all agree on that. Can Splinterlands cooperate with Peak Monsters to produce the following functions? SPS whale delegation from cheap to expensive, free to adjust the price in the minimum number of days or 7 or more, and so on. Then the player will click the button to accept the delegation. Yeah, I think that the reason why none of the SPS staking requirements have been in existence is because there wasn't SPS delegation. SPS delegation is now a thing. That means that you personally don't have to own hundreds of thousands of SPS. You can go rent it from other whales in the game that have excess, and that makes your upfront cost drastically lower. So yes, we're working on I call it a protocol. We're going to do that on a protocol level so that third-party markets can deal with that. Oh, what did I skip? Question: when delegating staked SPS, who does still get the APR percent? The owner or the player to whom the SPS was delegated? The APR, I think, goes to the owner. Still goes to the owner, and then this gets back to like the two pools. So we probably have to go clarify this and make it all right before I screw up something by talking about it. But I think that'll impact both pools, and we'll talk about that when the post is out about it.
Yeah, it's in the release notes from when we added delegating SPS, what benefits you get and what benefits the owner gets still.
Do you want to, can you post that in here somewhere?
Sure, I can take it.
Thanks. Question: what can we have a DAO treasury dashboard in the game with all the assets from within and how those are used? Can a DAO proposal decide what to do, for example, with the available Ethereum from the treasury? Yeah, that is the community's Ethereum that is not owned by Splinterlands. The DAO can do that. We can have a DAO treasury dashboard somewhere. I guess please file that under the quality of life things that you are looking for, and let's get that on the list and tickets made up and all that. Daru is asking, as a follow-up to the DAO answer, I assume that the MAV chat proposal will be scrapped if approved. I don't understand this. I mean, if the MAV chat proposal is approved, it will probably go forward or some version of it. If it's not approved, then it will likely be scrapped. Maybe somebody can help me with the interpretation of this.
Not sure.
Okay. We're going to leave that up as a confusing question. Mega Marcus, question. I'm very happy with SBS delegation going live soon and the conditions you worked out. Thanks. Waiting was worth it. To my question, do you consider the marketing option to enlarge the player base at a big hype with lower pack prices and or full ability cards at level 1 in the future? So a big amount of players can have the maximum fun at bronze 2 to earn more assets, SBS staking and card level is implement already. So this is a realistic way to stake up in the future. What do you think? So we as a company can go launch packs. I can make packs 25 cents. And if I do that, I could sell out of packs at least the first time rather quickly. But I think if players see our company constantly undercutting how the market is pricing things, I think you guys will consider us rude and not want us to keep printing new packs, because every time we did it, we undercut the players. So my thought is that card prices for new packs have to be the same or higher going forward, because I don't want to go undercut players. Weirdbeard, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's like trying to legislate a problem that's happening now and not it's not good long term for some of the other solutions that we have coming in. The real solution to new player experience is not just make everything super, super cheap to get everybody in here. It's making sure that we have proper onboarding, making sure that we have ways for new players to interact, and make sure that we're not, just nuking them out of existence. I think that overcorrecting by passing a bunch of proposals to fix stuff before we're able to get to it sort of defeats the purpose of us being able to, I don't know, throw our weight around and develop as we need to.
Crypto's Heart is asking, could the community make a proposal to ask the team to revisit the numbers for staking for rank mode? Maybe we could have it different for modern and wild, and maybe make wild the number Matt dropped and have modern cheaper, just like in tournament SPS staking. Yep, that is something that the players can do. I don't know that it'll get enough support, but if it does, that's something that we will look at and do our best to implement. Let's see. Ryan 600 is asking, would it be possible to create a new separate MAV group for SPS stake? And if you fall below the limit, you're removed from that group. Yes, that is absolutely possible. That is something that we can look at after the, I wouldn't want to do it immediately after the proposal. We'll see what happens with the proposal. We'll see what happens if they remake that proposal that doesn't pass. So we'll give that one a little bit of time to kind of bake. And then if the community doesn't like that, but they do want something, we can look at, I know there's interest in a LAN channel. There could be interest in an SPS channel. So there's stuff that we could be doing. Warren, it looks like you changed your name. Can we submit more than one Google Doc request, or would our previous suggestions be overwritten?
It will not. You can submit as many as you'd like on the document that I put out there.
Any update on the modern bot man?
Yes, like I mentioned earlier and last week, this is not something that's going to be done in a week. You will get plenty of heads up notice as soon as it's ready to go live. But it's harder than just flipping a switch. So as soon as we have progress made on it, the team will know, or everybody will know.
Weirdbeard mentioned Hardpoint was working with Neil on Land 1.5. I thought Hardpoint was speedy at work on the validator nodes, just trying to understand where his expertise is being deployed and making sure he is well, as we haven't seen him on a town hall in quite some time. Hope all is well with him.
Yeah, so Hardpoint is doing land. We have a different dev that works on validators. Hardpoint was doing a lot of market work behind the scenes for us, but getting him in on a team with land with Neil is great, and we love having him there. His expertise is allowing him to take a step back from having to do lots of things, and he gets to focus on doing what makes him happy, which is being a dev that puts out really cool things. I talk to Hardpoint daily. I think he's hanging in there just fine, and if you ever really want to hear from him, we can try to convince him to come on and hang out with us on a town hall sometime.
He likes nerding out with the stuff that he's doing, as far as I can tell. He gave we did a show and tell today, because today is Monday, which means that the sprints go live tomorrow. So some of the things that go live or that are on the docket, we like to do show and tell within the company. He was presenting some of these things, and I think pretty excited about it. So I think he's digging. The validators are like a pretty hardcore backend thing. And I think the sort of more the land-based stuff is heavy in the back end, but it's also fun to be able to put out new features into the front. And I think he's digging that. So that's where he's contributing now. McVeer is asking, with the removal of the quest lodge and guilds, will the RP bonus and shop discount be replaced? These I feel are a big draw card to be in a guild. Yeah, those are going to go to different buildings. The quest lodge doesn't quite make any sense. We've said for a while that it's a wonky fix, and now it's in the crosshairs to update. Can we please have a modern wild option for the challenge feature? Will you please add that to the feedback request list?
Yes, and that's actually something that we already have in the upcoming backlog. It's been a thing that we've had asked for quite a while. We don't know if we're going to be able to get to it, but it is on there. It's something that we're taking a look at, hopefully being able to do.
When the next crypto bull run or NFT gaming hype will happen, let's say in approximately 2 years, do you wish to have full running at the Splinterverse? Or what do you wish to have full running at the Splinterverse? I think it goes along with the whole Invenium thing that not only do I want the platform, I want a metaverse for all these companies and people to hang out in and to be able to trade in. So much of my experience as a kid was like at a store with an open binder and they had cards and I had cards, and we'd be swapping back and forth. And that's fun for a lot of people. It's economical and it's a financial thing, but it's like community building. And I want people to be able to run quests, do exchanges, have fun, personalize their avatar, be social, be incorporated in a lot of these things. This is the metaverse is going a little slow these days, but yeah, I definitely want to see basically a quest and a trading system as the first parts of that. Question: how big of a Web2 game could Invenium onboard? Can Hive handle the AAA titles traffic, considering it gets slow and we all claim rewards? Yeah, I guess. Investigator, can I throw you under the bus on this one? Like, you're kind of knee deep in all the servers. Do you feel like are we at our maximum and we can't onboard another player and everything will die, or do you feel like there's room to improve? Does it take new servers? Does it take new code? Does it take new devs? Does it take a new partner? Like what? How do we scale this game from here after even the billions of things that we've done?
Yeah, we're hardly at our cap for what the servers can handle right now. And if we have a giant upswing, we can always take a look at making code changes, upscaling servers. Yeah, we've actually made that a lot easier in terms of upscaling servers. That's kind of why we're moving them all over to a different architecture where we can just be like, more servers, deploy, and it'll do it automatically. Yeah, and we can always do code changes. If we are getting spammed by one particular thing, then we can either put limitations on how often you can spam that thing, or we could add more servers that process that thing. So not too worried about it.
Darren 505 is asking, will Invenium have its own token? How will it operate? So Invenium is it's a platform. And if games want to build on Splinterlands or on the Genesis League sports ecosystem, they'll either use SPS or DEC, or they'll use GLX and GLUSD. And they could use other tokens. But if they want to build in their own kind of like micro ecosystem, they can do that too. But as was noted earlier, one of the objectives is to try to get them accepting our tokens for value as well. So those are some of the things to consider here. So Tamashan is saying his point was that the DAO does not own the Discord, so why can it police it with proposals? And that's a fair question. I guess that comes down to me as the owner of the Discord and the founder of the game. I think of myself as a servant king to this community. So I do own the Discord, and it is I have powers to go change how it operates. But I am not a tyrant. I am not here to go do whatever the hell I want. I'm here to go do what the stakeholders want. And I'm here as a facilitator, and I work for you guys, not the other way around. So, if you guys make proposals and it's supported by a super majority of stakeholders, I'm going to do what I can to work with you to figure out an implementation that works for players and the stakeholders on this proposal and others. We are catering to the people that have stake in this game, and that's how this whole ecosystem works. It's a stake-weighted governance system. Xanthus is just saying one possible interpretation is that the Mavs proposal isn't really DAO related. So the question is, how binding is it if it passes, or how would it get implemented? Yep. So those are things that we have to figure out, right? And so there's not, unless it's perfectly spelled out in a way that we know exactly what to do, then we would have to go figure out the best interpretation of that and, put it out, run it for a while and see what people do. If it fails, then, it's not getting implemented now. If it gets voted in, then we'll figure out, what is the black letter law that's in the proposal? And then where's the flexibility, and how do we make sure that we implement the spirit of what the players are asking for? Can delegated players play tournament? I haven't tested it yet. Yeah, if you have delegated SPS, you should be able to play those tournaments. Question: where do we go to play the Primal Hoop game tomorrow? Will it be on the GLS website? Yes, there will be a link. I think it's going live. There have been some minor challenges right before release, so we'll see if it goes live tomorrow. But if it does, it'll be on the Genesis League Sports website. Sentinel Aggro gets it. Recreate the local card shops in Splinterlands, kitchen table type gameplay with customization of battles, rules, etc. And you do it with your like international friends so that it works 24/7. That to me is the fun of these things. Will there be a validator sale for each new game made in the new infrastructure? Not necessarily. So if you know, just like tower defense is being built on Splinterlands, there's not going to be a new tower defense validator. Just like Chibi is being built on top of the goals ecosystem, there's not going to be a validator specifically for Chibi. If somebody comes in and they say, look, I'm planning on releasing 6 games and I want my own token and I want to build my own infrastructure, it's going to use the same login, it's going to use Hive, and it's going to be this system, but I want it to be my token, my governance, my all of this. We're going to facilitate that too. And in those cases, it would involve brand new tokens by brand new companies. And like players have said, it's our goal to get all these different games to accept our tokens for value. Question and reality. Let's go close off questions now because we've reached the end here. Is it likely the modern bot ban takes effect before the staking requirement? I'm gonna punt that to Weirdbeard.
Yeah, probably not. But you know, that's again, these things are not easy. You do the thing and then you do the next thing. Sometimes other things happen. Sometimes one thing goes quicker. As it is right now, probably not. You're probably gonna have SPS staking and then the bot first or the bot second. But as always, you know, I'm an idiot, so things could be different.
Extreme Player 63 is asking, is Splinterfest to deal with Tom McFarlane was being talked about? Any updates on this? Yeah, it slowed down a little. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks or months to see if that gets picked up more. I think that's it for questions. I think we're going to call it here. We got done 15 minutes early, or I guess 10 minutes early. That might be a record for the town hall, being able to get done prior to the end here. I guess I'm excited. I'm as excited as I've been in a long freaking time. SBS staking is going to be amazing. Getting land out here is going to be amazing. I know some people get sick of hearing this, but I'm just trying to like prep you and warn you. You're not going to have enough SBS. You're not going to have enough DEC. You're not going to have enough cards. You're not going to have enough vouchers. Everybody is going to be fighting for these resources. And we're so close to this. Like we're hopefully in June, maybe it's early July, but we're getting to the point where land, SBS staking, other parts of the white paper, you know, in the future, we start being able to do mobile development. We get to do more of these tutorials and make it easier to produce them, improve the new player experience. There's a lot that I think our team has in our sights that we get to work on. We're aligned. We plan for these things, and I think we're in a good spot. So I just want to say thanks everybody for an incredible 5 years. Thanks for being a part of this community. Some of you guys have been here literally since day one. Looking at you, Ron. Looking at you, Clay. I know that there's a bunch of folks that have been here forever. So I just want to say thanks to everybody. Thanks for making this incredible. And man, there's just so much to look forward to. I'm pumped. I'm hyped. And June and early July should be really freaking killer for Splinterlands and the ecosystem as a whole. Thanks, everybody.
Reigns and hope is lost. When your darkest days aren't saved by the dawn, we bring the light to help guide the way. We are with you. We are the Rift Watchers. Spread far and wide. When you're out of places to run and hide, follow the rules.